2017, in the bustling city of New York, a young woman named Emily had decided to capture some precious memories with her family through a professional photo shoot. With excitement and anticipation, she took to Craigslist in search of a skilled photographer who could bring her vision to life. After meticulously browsing through numerous listings, she stumbled upon an ad that caught her attention. The advertisement showcased the work of a photographer named Daniel, who claimed to have a unique talent for capturing the essence of families and their love. Intrigued by the stunning portfolio displayed on his website, Emily was convinced that Daniel was the perfect choice to immortalize her cherished moments. With butterflies fluttering in her stomach, Emily gathered her husband David and their 2 young children, Sarah and Ethan, to embark on this special adventure. She reached out to Daniel and eagerly discussed the details of the photo shoot. Daniel proposed conducting the session at his home studio, assuring Emily that the intimate environment would enhance the authenticity of their family portraits. The day of the photo shoot arrived, and Emily's excitement was palpable. She dressed her family in coordinating outfits, ensuring they looked picture perfect. With her heart filled with joy and anticipation, she drove her family to Daniel's address. As Emily pulled up to the quaint house, she couldn't help but notice a flicker of unease. The studio was situated in a somewhat secluded area surrounded by dense woods. Ignoring her apprehension, she reassured herself that this was merely the perfect backdrop for the stunning portraits they were about to create. With her family in tow, Emily approached the door of the studio. She hesitated for a moment, her hand trembling as she knocked. The door swung open, revealing a middle-aged man with disheveled hair and an unsettling grin. This man was none other than Daniel, the photographer she had entrusted with her family's memories. As Emily stepped inside the studio, her senses heightened. There was an eerie silence that hung in the air, accompanied by a faint scent of chemicals. The walls were adorned with photographs capturing the beauty of families frozen in time. However, as her eyes scanned the room, she couldn't help but notice an undercurrent of darkness lurking beneath the seemingly innocent images. Daniel motioned for Emily's family to gather in front of the backdrop adorned with fairy lights. As she positioned herself, Emily couldn't shake off the feeling that something was amiss. Suddenly, Daniel's demeanor shifted, his smile twisting into a malevolent sneer. In a chilling tone, Daniel revealed his true intentions. He locked the studio doors, trapping Emily and her family within its walls. Panic surged through Emily's veins as she realized the dire predicament they were in. Daniel, it seemed, was not the talented photographer he had claimed to be, but a maniacal individual who reveled in tormenting innocent souls. Fear etched on their faces. Emily's family huddled together, desperately seeking a way to escape the clutches of their captor. Daniel's eyes gleamed with sadistic pleasure as he threatened violence, relishing in their terror. Emily's heart pounded in her chest as she fought to remain calm and devise a plan to protect her loved ones. The studio became a battleground, a fight for survival against an unhinged predator. Emily's resourcefulness and determination kicked into high gear as she scanned the room for anything that could aid their escape. She noticed a small window, obscured by heavy curtains, offering a sliver of hope. Gathering her courage, Emily concocted a diversion, distracting Daniel while her husband and children worked frantically to pry open the window. Time seemed to stretch agonizingly as they struggled against the locked frame. But finally, with a triumphant creak, the window yielded, granting them their much-needed exit. With a burst of adrenaline, Emily ushered her family through the narrow opening, guiding them to safety outside. They sprinted through the dense woods, the sound of their pounding footsteps echoing the darkness. Fear propelled them forward, urging them to escape the clutches of their captor and find help. After what felt like an eternity, they stumbled upon a road where a passing driver noticed their frantic state and stopped to assist them. Tears streamed down Emily's face as she recounted their harrowing ordeal, grateful to have escaped the clutches of the maniacal photographer. The authorities were alerted, and a manhunt was launched to bring Daniel to justice. News of the incident spread, serving as a chilling reminder to others of the dangers lurking behind seemingly harmless encounters. Emily's family, though scarred by the experience, found solace in each other's embrace, cherishing the strength and resilience that had saved them from the clutches of darkness. And so, in the wake of this terrifying event, Emily's family learned the importance of vigilance and the indomitable power of love. They vowed to protect one another fiercely, forever grateful for the precious gift of life they had fought so valiantly to preserve. In 2018, in the bustling city of New York, a young and aspiring musician named Ethan was on the hunt for a rehearsal studio to fuel his passion for music. Determined to find an affordable space, he turned to the ever-reliable Craigslist, hoping to stumble upon a hidden gem. Little did he know that this innocent quest would lead him down a perilous path, teeming with danger and unforeseen circumstances. One fateful day, while scrolling through the listings, Ethan's eyes landed on an ad that seemed too good to be true. It claimed to offer a well-equipped rehearsal studio at a remarkably low price, nestled in a quiet corner of the city. Ignoring his better judgment, the young musician couldn't resist the allure and decided to contact the landlord, hoping to secure the space for his creative endeavors. The next morning, Ethan received a response from the landlord, a man named Victor. Victor seemed friendly and accommodating in their brief email exchange, assuring Ethan that the studio was still available and inviting him to visit it in person. Excitement tingled through Ethan's veins as he hastily agreed to the meeting, blissfully unaware of the sinister intentions lurking beneath Victor's facade. Unbeknownst to Ethan, Victor was a dangerous criminal who had devised a wicked scheme to prey upon unsuspecting victims. The studio he advertised was nothing more than a sinister trap, designed to ensnare his targets and extort money from them. With the diabolical plan already set into motion, Victor eagerly awaited Ethan's arrival at the appointed location, hidden away from prying eyes. And so, in the heart of New York City, in the year 2018, Ethan found himself standing before a nondescript building, its faded sign bearing the words, "The Sound Heaven Rehearsal Studios." Filled with anticipation, Ethan entered the dimly lit hallway and followed a narrow staircase that led him to the basement where the studio awaited his arrival. As he stepped inside, Ethan's excitement quickly transformed into trepidation. The door slammed shut behind him with a resounding thud, trapping him in an unfamiliar and claustrophobic space. Panic welled up within him as he frantically tried to open the door, only to discover that it had been securely locked from the outside. Realization washed over him like an icy wave as he comprehended the gravity of his situation. He had fallen into Victor's trap. Fear gripped Ethan's heart as he pounded on the door, desperately hoping for someone to hear his cries for help. But the sound of his pleas seemed to dissipate into the cold, lifeless air, swallowed by the depths of the abandoned studio. It became painfully clear that his only companion in this dark and forbidding place was his own growing despair. Days turned into nights, and the passage of time blurred within the confinements of the studio walls. Ethan's mind became a battleground between fear and determination. He refused to succumb to Victor's malevolent game, vowing to find a way out and reclaim his freedom. With each passing moment, he searched for any potential means of escape, meticulously examining every nook and cranny, desperate for a glimmer of hope. Meanwhile, Victor reveled in his wicked triumph. He taunted Ethan with sporadic messages, his menacing voice echoing through crackling phone lines. Each demand for a ransom sent shivers down Ethan's spine, further fueling his resolve to break free from this nightmarish ordeal. In the depths of his despair, Ethan's spirit found solace in the melodies that once flowed effortlessly from his fingertips. He poured his emotions into the music, the chords becoming his unwavering allies in this battle against captivity. Though physically confined, his music became a vessel for his soul, a defiant declaration of his strength and resilience. Outside the studio, a dedicated detective named Olivia had been tirelessly investigating a string of similar disappearances. As the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place, she sensed a connection to Victor's nefarious activities. Determined to save Ethan and put an end to Victor's reign of terror, Olivia delved deeper into the shadows, following a trail fraught with danger and deception. Days turned into weeks, and the race against time intensified. The music that echoed through the studio walls reached Olivia's ears, becoming a haunting beacon guiding her closer to Ethan's location. With unwavering determination, she gathered a team of skilled officers, prepared to confront the criminal and liberate his captive. In a final, climactic showdown, Olivia and her team stormed the dilapidated studio, their presence shattering the oppressive silence that had plagued Ethan for far too long. The resounding clash between good and evil reverberated through the air as chaos erupted within the confines of the once captive space. As the dust settled, Ethan emerged from the darkness, his spirit unbroken despite the harrowing ordeal he had endured. In his eyes, a newfound appreciation for life mingled with a steely determination to continue pursuing his musical dreams. The young musician had emerged from the crucible of captivity, forever changed but unbowed. Together, Ethan and Olivia ensured that justice was served. Victor's reign of terror came to an abrupt end as he was apprehended and faced the full weight of the law. The city, once tainted by his malevolence, breathed a collective sigh of relief, knowing that its streets were a little safer now. In the aftermath of his traumatic experience, Ethan's story resonated with people around the world. His indomitable spirit and unwavering love for music inspired countless individuals, reminding them of the power of resilience in the face of adversity. Through his music, Ethan found catharsis, healing the wounds inflicted upon his soul by the clutches of a deranged criminal. And so, the echoes of Ethan's journey lingered, a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the transformative power of music. In the years to come, he would continue to share his story, using his experiences to uplift others and spread a message of hope. From the depths of captivity, he had emerged as a beacon of resilience, forever marked by his fateful encounter, but not defined by it. In the year 2016, in the bustling city of New York, a young man named Jake was searching for an affordable place to live. He had recently graduated from college and was eager to start his new job, but finding suitable accommodation within his limited budget was proving to be a challenge. Frustrated with his unsuccessful attempts, Jake turned to an unlikely source, Craigslist. One evening, as he scrolled through the online listings, he stumbled upon an ad that caught his attention. It offered a spacious room in a centrally located apartment at a surprisingly low rent. Intrigued by the offer, Jake decided to take a chance and contacted the landlord, a man named Mr. Thompson. After a brief conversation, Mr. Thompson assured Jake that the room was indeed available and even offered to show it to him the next day. Excited by the prospect of finally finding an affordable place to live, Jake eagerly agreed to meet Mr. Thompson at the apartment. The following day, Jake arrived at the address provided by Mr. Thompson. The building appeared old and worn, but he brushed off any concerns, attributing them to the city's charm. As he climbed the creaky stairs to the third floor, Jake's anticipation grew. Upon reaching the designated apartment, Jake knocked on the door, and Mr. Thompson promptly opened it. He was a middle-aged man with a friendly smile and a calm demeanor. The apartment itself seemed decent, with a cozy living room and a spacious kitchen. Jake couldn't help but feel a sense of relief wash over him. "So here's the room," Mr. Thompson said, leading Jake down a narrow hallway. The room was at the end, tucked away from the rest of the apartment. It had a lock on the door, which initially struck Jake as a safety measure rather than a cause for concern. Entering the room, Jake noticed that it was relatively bare, with only a bed, a small desk, and a chair. However, the walls were covered in numerous locks, both on the inside and outside of the door. Curiosity mixed with a tinge of unease began to creep up on him. "What's with all the locks?" Jake asked, trying to hide his growing apprehension. Mr. Thompson chuckled nervously. "Well, just a precaution. Can't be too careful these days, can we?" Not wanting to miss out on the opportunity, Jake brushed off his concerns and agreed to rent the room. He handed over the deposit and the first month's rent, and Mr. Thompson handed him the keys, including the one for the room. Days turned into weeks, and Jake settled into his new living arrangements. He'd found comfort in his job, but whenever he returned home, a lingering sense of unease filled his mind. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss, that there was more to Mr. Thompson's story than met the eye. One evening, while Jake was cooking dinner in the communal kitchen, he overheard a conversation between Mr. Thompson and another tenant, Sarah. Their hushed voices piqued his curiosity, and he couldn't resist eavesdropping. "I can't believe he's still falling for it," Sarah whispered, her voice tinged with malice. "How much longer are you going to keep him locked up?" Mr. Thompson's reply sent chills down Jake's spine. "As long as it takes. He's trapped, Sarah, and he won't be leaving anytime soon." The words echoed in Jake's mind, confirming his worst fears. He was being held captive by a psychopath. Panic surged through his veins as he realized the true extent of the danger he was in. Determined to escape his nightmarish situation, Jake devised a plan. He knew he had to bide his time, gather information, and find a way to outsmart his captor. Every night, while Mr. Thompson slept, Jake meticulously examined the locks in his room, trying to decipher their secrets. Months passed, and Jake's knowledge of the locks grew. He discovered hidden patterns, faulty mechanisms, and weaknesses he could exploit. With each passing day, his confidence grew, but so did his captor's suspicion. One fateful night, as Jake was on the brink of unlocking the final lock, he heard a key turn in the front door. Fear gripped him, and he hurriedly retreated to his bed, pretending to be fast asleep. Mr. Thompson's footsteps approached, and the door to Jake's room creaked open. "Awake, are we?" Mr. Thompson's voice dripped with menace. Jake's heart raced as he pretended to stir from his slumber. "What's going on?" he mumbled, feigning confusion. Mr. Thompson's smile turned sinister. "I know what you've been up to, Jake. Trying to escape, are we? Well, it's time to put an end to that." In one swift motion, Mr. Thompson lunged at Jake, overpowering him with his sheer strength. Bound and gagged, Jake's desperate struggle was met with cold indifference. Mr. Thompson reveled in his power, relishing in the terror that filled Jake's eyes. But unbeknownst to Mr. Thompson, Jake's perseverance had not been in vain. Over the months of studying the locks and planning his escape, Jake had managed to conceal a small hidden knife beneath his mattress. As Mr. Thompson gloated over his captive, Jake's mind raced. He knew that his only chance of survival was to seize the moment when it presented itself. With every ounce of strength and determination he possessed, he fought against his restraints, desperately trying to free himself. Suddenly, a moment of opportunity arose. Mr. Thompson, momentarily distracted by a noise from the hallway, loosened his grip on Jake. Sensing the chance he had been waiting for, Jake swiftly reached for the hidden knife and, with a surge of adrenaline, managed to cut through his bindings. In a swift motion, Jake lunged at Mr. Thompson, his years of pent-up fear and frustration fueling his every move. The struggle between them intensified, each fighting for control. As they wrestled, Jake's mind raced, contemplating his next move. With a burst of strength, Jake managed to push Mr. Thompson off balance, causing him to stumble backward and hit his head against the corner of the room's desk. A momentary daze enveloped Mr. Thompson, providing Jake with the advantage he needed. Realizing that his opportunity to escape was fleeting, Jake swiftly grabbed the keys from Mr. Thompson's pocket and sprinted toward the front door. The adrenaline coursing through his veins pushed him to his limits, propelling him forward with an intensity he had never experienced before. With trembling hands, Jake fumbled with the keys, desperately trying to find the correct one to unlock the front door. The sound of Mr. Thompson recovering from the blow and giving chase only fueled Jake's determination. Finally, the right key slid into the lock, and with a click, the door swung open. Jake burst out into the hallway, his breath ragged and his heart pounding. He could hardly believe he had made it out alive. He knew he had to act quickly, and with the clarity born of survival instincts, he sprinted down the stairs and out onto the city streets, never looking back. Gasping for air, Jake finally found a safe spot and pulled out his phone, dialing the emergency number for the police. He recounted his harrowing ordeal, providing them with Mr. Thompson's address and every detail he could remember. Help was on its way. Within minutes, the police arrived at the scene, storming into Mr. Thompson's apartment. It found him disoriented and injured, still recovering from the blow to his head. He was swiftly apprehended, his reign of terror finally brought to an end. In the aftermath of his escape, Jake received support and counseling to help him recover from the traumatic experience. He struggled with nightmares and anxiety for some time, but gradually regained his sense of security and trust in others. Jake's story served as a cautionary tale, shedding light on the dangers of online transactions and the importance of vigilance when searching for accommodations. His experience prompted a closer examination of safety measures and regulations surrounding rental platforms, ensuring that others would be better protected from similar situations. As for Jake, he emerged from the terrifying ordeal with a newfound appreciation for life and a determination to make the most of every opportunity. He continued to pursue his career and surrounded himself with a strong support network of friends and loved ones who helped him rebuild his life. The memory of those dark days would forever be etched in his mind, serving as a reminder of his strength and resilience. Jake vowed to use his experience to advocate for the rights of others, supporting organizations that worked tirelessly to prevent and address similar cases of exploitation and abuse. Through his courage and determination, Jake not only survived the clutches of a psychopath, but also became a beacon of hope and inspiration for others who had faced similar horrors. His story would forever serve as a testament to the power of the human spirit and the importance of never giving up, even in the face of unimaginable adversity.